Norming Procure-to-Pay solution streamlines and automates the entire procurement process. From raising purchase requisition, asking vendor for quotation, issue PO to vendor until the receive goods and service, receive invoice from vendor, and then making payment to the vendor. Procure-to-Pay also covers non-PO purchasing through the AP invoice request. The Procure-to-Pay aims to improve the efficiency, reduce costs, enhance compliance, and provide better visibility into the procurement lifecycle. Procure-to-Pay uses web and mobile-based interface for requisition entry and approval process. Procure-to-Pay has a powerful approval workflow engine with email alert. It can cover every scenario, no matter how complex your approval workflow is. It has configurable email template for different workflow activity. It sends approval reminders to remind the approver to approve the requisition. It can be configured to send PO directly to vendor with PO form attached. The workflow supports delegation, transfer, and request endorsement. Approval trail keeps a record of each approval process. Procure-to-Pay allows attachment during the requisition entry and approval process. Document can be attached at the header or detail level of requisition form for the approver's review. Attachment can also be viewed from the RM backend. The attachment file type supports PDF, image, Excel, Word, PPT, email, and many different types of document. Procure-to-Pay has a seamless integration into Sage 300. All approved requests flow directly into the relative Sage 300 core modules. The integration covers things like PO requisition, order, receipt, and PO invoice entry. It works with the inventory. For people that don't have the inventory modules, it will also work with your PO item and non-stock items as well. Procure-to-Pay integrates with project job costing for job-related purchase and job budgeting and estimates. Integrates with the AP modules, which includes vendor details, vendor contract pricing, any sort of AP payments and payment terms that the vendor may have. Fully integrates with a common service, including things like tax services, tax calculation, and full support of the multi-currency. Integration with the geo modules as well. Today I will use web browser to illustrate the entire procurement process. I will use a typical 3-level approval workflow to illustrate. The process starts from a requester login to RM web portal to raise a purchase requisition. The requisition flows to the manager for the approval. Once the requisition is approved, the requisition flows to the procurement team. The purchaser requests quotation from vendors. Typically, the purchase may require multiple quotations from different vendors and choose the best vendor to proceed. If the amount of the requisition exceeds certain amount, then a higher level of approval may be required, such as like a finance controller. Otherwise, the requisition can be posted to Sage 300 to generate PO. Requester log into the web portal. Go to Purchase Requisition. In the Deck panel, you are able to see the status of all the past requisition raised. Click New to start a new requisition. Select the purchase type, define, and set the expiration date. Select the inventory location where you want to receive the items, and type in the reference and comments what if you have, and then select the items want to purchase. Set the quantities and key in the items. You can add a comment at the stock row, let's say top up, to further describe why you need to purchase these items. MOQ required. You can add the attachment by the item level. For example, add a comment, the figure from vendor, and go to, let's say, create this, save. You can also add the attachment for this in the header document level. You can attach, let's say, to open, close. So you have the attachment here. You can also copy the past raised requisition for, let's say, for repeat orders, and you can also import from the Excel files. Once you are ready, you can click submit. This time you can see from the approval trail, you can see now the requisition will flow to the manager to approve. You can see this one is highlighted. By this time, the manager will receive an email and to notify him there's a requisition waiting him for approval. Okay. Manager receive the notification email and click the link to log in to the web portal. Manager go to management tool to approve this. He can check there's a pending requisition documents waiting him for the approval. He click this, the one which just now we raised. Manager can check all the items and it's okay. He can approve this requisition. Otherwise, he may reject back to the requester. Or if he thinks this requisition may be better to that other approval to do so, he can click the transfer or can also request the endorsement from some experts to endorse, to give the comments. So let's approve this requisition, and manager can put some comments. Let's say let's proceed. So now let's look at this. From here you can see these are the items he approved. We can click this one, and from the approval trail you will see now the next step will be go to the buyer. Here you can see there's two buyers in the list because the system now I configure it to that either one can process this requisition. So now it's flow to the buyer procurement team to get the quotation from vendor. So again, the buyer will also receive the email notification. Buyer log into web portal, open to approve list, open the document. So the buyer check the quotation. There's two items need to be code. Click the request code and add let's say add the vendors. For this illustration purpose, we add two vendors. We'll give the expiration date, and you can put up some comments to the vendor and then click send. Vendor receive the email, they click the link from the email. The vendor can provide the lead time and the price for the items and provide some notes here and then submit code. After both vendors have submitted their code, the buyer log into the system and can compare the codes. Here you can see the detail of the codes, and for this case, let's say the buyer choose this one based on the shortest lead time and click approve. So put a comment based on shortest lead time. Click OK. Then now you can see now the requisition is completed because the overall the whole document amount is less than 5,000. Now let's proceed to the back end to continue the process of this approved requisition. Go to Resource Manager, Procure-to-Pay purchase requisition, open the requisition list. You can see this document just now we raised is under, now its status is approved. Open this one. So here you can see the details of this document in the attachment. are able to see the files attached to from the web portal. You can press the preview to see this document. We can see the approval trail from here also. So if everything okay, you can post this requisition. So and then it will also send an email to the vendor. Okay. So from here, you can also drill down to the PO generator. That is the PO module from the PO order entry. Okay. Vendor receive email with the PO attached. So vendor can then start to prepare for the good delivery. When receiving goods, requester log into web portal to start PO receipt requisition. For demo purpose, this receipt requisition use one level approval workflow to illustrate. Create the PO receipt requisition, click new to start a new requisition, select the requisition type, select vendor for the goods received, select the PO for the goods received also. Okay, then the detail will be populated here. If all goods are received, you can click receive all, otherwise you can adjust this quantity accordingly. System is also can be configured to have over receipt checking in PO receipt requisition by check the quantity and the cost. And you can drill down to the PO requisition form to get the detailed requisition information about this PO. Once you are ready, you can click submit. Manager receive the notification email, log into web portal, go to approve this to validate this information in the requisition document. For example, if here he think the DO document need to be attached here, so he may reject this requisition. Okay, for this demo purpose, we just approve this one. Approve. Depends on the company policy, it may be the finance team validate the requisition from the back end. So go to the receipt requisition to get requisition list. You will see this the requisition pending for the to be post is already approved but pending for post. Open this requisition. You can see the view the details information here. You can check the attachment approval trail, optional field setting, additional costs, and all of the things. If you can also drill down to the PO. If information is correct, then you can post this information to the PO. After post, you can also drill down to PO receipt entry from this icon. When PO invoice is received, the requester create a PO invoice requisition to start the invoice requisition. Select the requisition type, key in the invoice number, let's say PN 0010, set the vendor. If there are multiple receipts, select from multiple receipts. Otherwise, select the corresponding receipt numbers. The detail will be populated here. From the receipt number, you can drill down to the receipt requisition document, and from receipt requisition document, you can drill down to the PO requisition document. Okay, if there's any additional cost, you can add here. You can attach supporting documents from here. Three-way PO matching ensures the invoice is matched to the corresponding PO and receipt document for quantity and amount. For example, we can set to give alert when the total cost exceeds 3%. For example, here we set to 40. Then we submit. It will give an alert. Let's say the total invoice amount exceeds the received amount by 5%. So if you accept, you can continue. Otherwise, cancel and go and do the correction. So for this case, we set back and submit. Similar as the previous two requisition process flow, the manager login to check and approve the document. In RM backend, open the PO invoice requisition list. Select this, the one we just processed. Similarly, we can verify the attachment approval trail and all the information from here. If no problem, then we can post to the 6300 PO module. If there's something wrong, you can reject from here, even though it is already approved from the front end. So now let's post it. Again, we can drill to the PO module from here. By now, we have completed PO purchase from the purchase requisition, PO receipt requisition, and PO invoice requisition. Now let's move on to payment process requisition. Requester login to the web portal. Click the AP payment requisition, click new. Select the requisition type. AP payment requisition supports miscellaneous payment, non-payment, prepayment. So select the type, set the bank and payment date, select the vendor. All the unprocessed invoices are shown under the payment detail tabs. Software provides three options. There's a document type, order by, and starting document number to filter the invoice to be displayed here for user to easily select the invoice to be processed. For example, here we want to show the document starting from P, so we select from here. So if it will show only from P onward. So let's look at on this invoice. This is the one we just now processed. So from here, you can see it's in blue form. You can drill down back to the previous PO invoice requisition document. Same as the PO document, you can drill down to the PO requisition document. AP payment requisition supports payment term defined for the vendor. For example, this invoice is split to 3 because this vendor has 90 days multiple payment term. So we can, let's say now we choose this one to be processed. Then you can add the attachment from here and you can check verify the date, the rate for the currency. So if nothing wrong, then you can click submit to get the approval. Software provides bulk pay function to let user quickly generate the payment requisition for multiple vendors. Okay, for example, you can select the requisition type, select the selection code, then payment bank, next, and choose all the document due on which date, then set the options. Okay, goes next. So you see it will generate all the payment requisitions. So if you don't want all those things, you can, let's say we want to choose for, let's say for these two vendors, others we don't want, so we can keep this and then generate. So two payment requisition generate. Okay, so you can view this, and if you okay, then click submit. Okay, you can view and click. Of course, just now in the bulk pay, you also have generate and submit. So if you are confident, you just click generate and submit for the approval. So now let's say we generate and submit for the approval for these two. Okay, so now we have total 3 is waiting for the approval. Okay, so the approval login. So you'll see all the 3 payment requisitions and the total sum of all the selected payment. Let's say all these 3 you want to select. You can see all the payment is here. Okay, so if you okay, you can just approve. Otherwise, you can verify and decide whether to approve or reject. That's for this demo. We say okay, but please go ahead. Okay, that's done. So these are the approved document the payments. At the RM backend, the financing team can have one more step of checking. Open the requisition list and you can validate the documents. If the document okay, then you can post. Otherwise, you can still reject even though it's approved from the front-end web portal. That's all for today's demo. We skip the AP invoice requisition for today because the whole process flow is similar as other requisition type. Thank you.